Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, the title is hyperbolic by the way, but let's talk about Erling Haaland, yeah? Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. We're 10 short. Please try to get me there, we'll see if we can. But let's talk about Haaland now. So, I don't know how long this video will be. I've prepared a little bit of stuff, but I'm gonna do most of this just off my head. Because, I mean, this is something that I've been saying for a while now. Not exactly as in the title, but we're not getting the best out of Haaland. So I've been saying it for a while, I might as well do it without any preparation. I have pulled up the tactical board here and a few stats. Football isn't about stats, not entirely, I know, but I do just want to point a few things out. So maybe we can start here with the team in general. I mean, 108 goals in 102 appearances. That is ridiculous. But it's not as good as his first season. His first season, Haaland had a ridiculous amount of goals, plus he had the assists. He was not as involved in play as he is now, however. So, is Haaland better now? Is he more involved in play? Is he contributing more? Not really. I feel like Haaland contributes less now, and we'll get into that why when we open the tactical board again. But what I'll just say is, at Dortmund, he had better stats. I mean, look at his assists. At Man City, his assisting count gets consistently lower. I doubt he gets to 4 at the end of this season, if I'm being honest with you. Meanwhile, at Dortmund, it got higher and then stayed at that 8 total. Haaland is capable of creating. Haaland missed a lot of games at Dortmund because of injury. Now, why is that? Why did he miss those games to injury? It's because he's an injury-prone player. He is very poor stamina-wise. He will spend half of a game fighting with centre-backs. Literally. Not illiterally. He will be pushing, shoving those centre-backs. He won't throw fists, of course, but he'll be pretty much fighting with these centre-backs for 45, 60 minutes. That is doable 5 games in a row. Sure. 6 games gets tough. 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Now do it 17 games in a row. Do it 20 games in a row. You get exhausted. So what Haaland's problem is, injury-wise, is he plays too much really, in a weird way. He does too much in a game. So Pep Guardiola, his solution to this, I think this is why Haaland plays the way he does. I'm not sure, but I think this is the reason why. Pep Guardiola's solution is to stop Haaland from getting injured. We need to make Haaland less involved. He can have that physical battle against the centre back, but we can't be having him on the right wing, left wing. We can't be having him dribble too much. We can't be having him do too much passing, because he'll fatigue himself. Those are the things he did at Dortmund to great effect, as well as in the Champions League, by the way. So it's not like he's limited to doing that in the Bundesliga. He has done that in the Premier League. Some of Haaland's best games are when he doesn't score. I take the Fulham game last season. He was terrific. General play was terrific. Nottingham Forest, I believe. Yes, it was Nottingham Forest, right, this season. He was really good. He was the second best player on the pitch, in my opinion. Didn't score. Of course, Haaland's best games are always the ones where he gets a hat-trick or where he scores 5 goals. But he can play good without scoring. He can provide other things than goals. The problem is, when you have too much on your plate, you're gonna get injured. So Pep Guardiola is trying to limit this play style. 1, to fit into his system. 2, in order to make sure Haaland gets less injuries if possible. Now, it works, clearly, it works. If we go through Haaland's injury record, let's just check this, yeah? You will clearly see that Haaland has had way less injuries in recent time. If I can click on it properly. So, you guys believe me, and I hope you can read, but he's had way less injuries than previously. Like, if you look at this, okay, L, nobody cares. Constant injuries at Dortmund, and a few at Salzburg, but at Dortmund it was constant injuries, and it was long injuries as well. 7 games, 9 games, 6 games. Like, this is something that Pep has in a way fixed. But I do not agree with the methods, because I think you can make Haaland more effective in the games that he does play, limit his injuries, and get his output up. And when I say effective, I mean in build-up. And get his output up, because I do believe there can be more output from Erling Haaland if you use him correctly. I don't think Pep Guardiola is at the moment using him correctly. And the key reason for that is because he can't. Okay, why am I criticizing Pep for not using Haaland correctly if he can't use him correctly at the moment? Don't worry about the other players, by the way. I mean, this is all tactics. The tactics are the same with Gundogan, with Grealish, Silva. I mean, we don't like that they are the same, but Pep does play pretty much the same no matter who is on the pitch. So don't worry about these guys. Don't worry about that. They are just valid. What is important here is Erling Haaland himself. He has no backup. Yes, we know that. So what does that have to do with playing Haaland the way you want to? Well, go back to the start of the video. I said Haaland, his play style at Dortmund, led to him getting a lot of injuries because he got tired quickly, and that led to muscular issues. If you go through his history issues, it's mostly muscular, by the way. Okay, if you have a backup, take Haaland off after 60 minutes. He scored a hat-trick, take him off, put Alvarez on. Okay, game that doesn't matter. Let's say we've got a Champions League game coming up, a big game. Haaland just played 5 games in a row. Now we play against Southampton in the Premier League. Haaland on the bench, Alvarez plays. Okay, fair. But we can't do that anymore. We don't have a backup. Haaland could play the way he otherwise plays, which is going through the wings, which he does very well. He has a great crossing ability, which, for example, Foden's goal at Old Trafford, I believe, set up by Erling Haaland. His crossing ability is great. He puts crosses in like that, not regularly at Man City, but he can. He absolutely can. If you play this way with Haaland, he will get more assists, so that is already an output increased, but he'll also get more goals, and here's why, yeah. By allowing Haaland to be more free roaming, you'd think he'll have less goals because he's less in the box. He'll still be mostly in the box. We're not talking about Harry Kane here, where he spends most of the time over here. That's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about with Haaland is he'll be mostly in the box, heck, he'll be mostly in this area of the box. But when Haaland feels like it, he'll be able to step outside of it. This will lead to other players having to take that place. Can Haaland shoot from distance? Sure, he can. He'll score sometimes, he won't score sometimes. That's not where the extra goals are coming from. Where the extra goals are coming from is that you can no longer mark Haaland completely. If you're just focusing on Erling Haaland, and Haaland decides, well, I'm a midfielder now. Well, okay. Sure, go mark Haaland. Put 2 players on Haaland. Now suddenly Foden and whoever is in the box is free. That does not work. For obvious reasons, I hope. For obvious reasons, that doesn't work. So you can't keep man-marking Haaland if he drops deeper. You have to mark other players. There is going to be output from other players. Haaland is going to have more freedom. Now, can defenses cope with that? Yes. Defenses can cope with players swapping positions. But if you do this enough, if you swap enough positions, you are fluid enough, that is the entire basis of tiki-taka, isn't it? You just keep rotating until your opponent is confused. And then they mark the wrong player, and it leads to a goal from someone. Someone clinical, usually. Having more goal-scoring threats means less people are on Haaland. For a team like this to work, you need young players, so it's impossible to play with De Bruyne, Kovacic. Maybe Kovacic can still do it, we don't know. Diaz, I don't think he can play. Does it matter though? Does it matter for the defender? Answer me that question in the comments. But Diaz, he can't keep up with that pace anymore. I mean, how old is Diaz? He's only 28 actually, isn't he? But he's never been a fan. Not Ruben Diaz, okay. How old is this man? He's only 27, damn bro. He's been one of the best defenders in the world for 4 years now, so I kind of assumed, yeah, this guy is like 32 or something. Yeah, he's only 27, damn. Never mind what I said about Diaz, never mind. That was stupid, but The rest is still true. Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, where is he? Walker. They can't play this style anymore. They can't play this rapid football. Nunez, he's just not good enough, in my opinion, to play that type of football. So, this style is impossible at the moment because, one, it's putting too much of a strain on Haaland. You're gonna have Haaland be getting injured way more. If you have a backup striker who can rest Haaland, you're not gonna have that issue. But we don't. So, if, but we don't. So what does Pep Guardiola, in my opinion, have to do to get more out of Haaland? It's three things, really. Three things for me. One, I want to see a backup striker. A young striker, hopefully. Actually, I don't mind if it's an older striker, but just a striker that you can have for 3 seasons. Let's say 3 seasons. That can put goals in, and he doesn't have to be Haaland level, but he just has to be able to bag a goal. Now played this guy against Southampton, played this guy against Ipswich, played this guy into games that don't matter. Like let's say Carabao Cup, semi-final, let's say you're like 20-0 up. Are you gonna play Haaland? Like, come on, give someone else a chance, right? Played this guy in Carabao Cup games against 2nd, 3rd division teams, FA Cup games, Champions League games if you're already qualified in like top 8. Played that guy. Which you currently aren't, but you get the point, right? So you can just rest Haaland so much more. And if you keep Haaland fitter, look at Haaland's start of every season. Do it. Go do it. Now, go check it. Check it yourself, because I know people are going to say that I'm a liar. Haaland always gets most of his goals at the start and end of a season. Do you know why? Do you know why he gets all of his goals in the first, like 5 games? Well, not all of his goals, but like more goals in his first 5 and his last 5 than in all the games in between? What? Don't take it too literally, but you get my point. You get my point. I'm explaining myself poorly, but you get my point. Don't be pedantic over here or semantic. It's because he's rested. At the end of the season, he takes some injury. He's out. Then he comes back. He gets a bit of rest, and voila, he's banging again. At the start of the season, well, he just had a summer break, so he's banging. But then he starts getting tired. And we really need to make sure that this guy is less tired. He needs to be more involved and build-up play as well. I'm not saying, again, just to reiterate, I don't want him to be as involved as Harry Kane is. It is a pendulum, right? If you imagine a pendulum, here is one side of the pendulum and here is the other side. This is Harry Kane. This is Harry Kane. This is Erling Haaland. What I'm looking for is the middle spot here between my face. Harry Kane is way too involved with build-up play. Haaland is way too uninvolved. Haaland can do it, and Haaland is better at this sort of stuff than Harry Kane was at the same age. Go watch footage of Harry Kane at the same age, yeah? He is nowhere near as good build-up wise as Haaland is at Dortmund. And before you tell me it's a Farmers League, go watch footage now of Haaland at Dortmund and compare it with Kane at Bayern München. Kane is still not doing stuff in the Bundesliga that Haaland did at Dortmund. Surely, in that time, Haaland has developed. So maybe you'll say, okay, Kane is getting old, he's not going to be able to do that anymore. Fair enough, but at the very least, we should have a more developed Haaland now than when he was at Dortmund, who can at the very least be comparable, I'm not saying on the same level as Kane, but comparable to Kane in that type of playing style. Again, I don't want him as involved as Kane. Kane is way too involved in playing, in build-up play and stuff, for my liking. He's not a midfielder, he's a false 9. He's not an attacker, he's a false 9. Midfielder almost. I don't like that. I want my striker in the box. But I don't want my striker only in the box. I don't want my striker to stand around watching, having no impact when stuff doesn't go, when the other team doesn't create, the other team players don't create. So, how you fix Haaland, again, hyperbolic title, how you fix Haaland for Man City is get a backup, and let him play more. I mean, that's very oversimplified, I think, but that's the answer. Tell me down below again if you agree, disagree. Remain respectful though. The amount of people recently, I think some people from Sava's channel went over to this channel and got angry at me for saying Pep out over there. I think they got salty at me, so stay respectful. It's just opinions. And I am banning all of you, yeah, that are saying just disrespectful stuff, so bye, I don't care about you. You know who you are if you are even watching this. I doubt that you probably don't watch my videos to the end, but just a heads up, stay respectful. I'll see you guys to the end. To the end, no, to the next time. I can't even do my own... Oh my days, I can't talk. I can't even do my own outro anymore. Let's just end it there. Stinker and hooked. Stinker and hooked. Bye.